Hi guys, it's Nathan Schmidt with Shaquille Hansford here to bring you Pixel Apocalypse's preview of Epic and People Can Fly's Bulletstorm. I'm fairly intrigued by this game. It's an FPS that is strained from the beaten path. It's looks to be something different than we've seen over the last year with Call of Duty and Bad Company and all the various clones that have tried to mimic those games. Bulletstorm seems to be doing something a little bit different, as it's a points-driven FPS as opposed to just waiting through the campaign and get to the end. What do you think, Shaq? Do you think this is something that gamers might lock onto?
I think there's a very specific kind of gamer that will lock onto this. A gamer who will recognize that it is kind of over the top, enjoy that, and acknowledge that, yeah, it maybe is going a little too far, and maybe they can get over it. But the rest of us, those of us who do not like Duke Nukem, will not like this game in the least.
Yeah, it does seem very molded in the Duke Nukem image and taken one step further. It almost seems, from what I've seen so far, it seems like Bulletstorm is almost trying too hard to be Duke Nukem and take Duke Nukem to the next level and just be completely outrageous and over the top. And as long as the game is self-aware enough to realize that and not end up pandering to the idiots on Xbox Live, I think it'll be okay. But it could very well fall on the side of, you know, this might as well have been released in the late 80s and had an extreme fucking slapped on the box. That's a very, very high risk with this game, because just watching videos and playing through the demo, every other word in the dialogue is fuck. Every other word. And I can't bash it for that, because every other word out of my mouth is fuck most of the time. It's a very thin line that they're walking with this game.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe this is just sort of a modernized version of Duke Nukem. Not that they're taking it, not that they said take Duke Nukem and make it more extreme, but they said take Duke Nukem and make it so that it actually matters to an audience that has kind of gotten used to that type of stuff. Because I'm sure when Duke Nukem first started back then, there was nothing like that, and so that felt kind of as extreme as this feels to us. So maybe people will latch onto this like they did Duke Nukem.
It's a definite possibility. I think the game has to be very self-aware, though. I realize that it's being ridiculous at all points in time. You know, that there's nothing like serious about it. We're not trying to be a serious game. This game is just for the people who want to kill things in the most outrageous fashion and hear snippets of dialogue like "combo is so cool they'll pucker your butthole," or to be called dick tits. You know,
which is offensive to those of us with the condition.
Yes, I do have dick tits, and I was offended by the demo. So, and they are trying to hype this game as a very pulp-like game in a very Tarantino-esque style. And once again, you know, it seems less pulp and more toilet humor, which could be fun too. I mean, I have no problem with toilet humor as long as it's funny.
Yeah, I'm okay with that type of humor as long as I feel like the characters need to be a joke, but I don't want the characters to be in on the joke, because then they kind of take it too far. It's like it's okay to make fun of someone, but then when they start making fun of themselves, it starts getting weird.
Yeah, it's like we always get back to that. It's a very thin line that this game is walking, because the player has to realize that the characters are a joke. But exactly, we don't want the characters to be in on it. But it also has to be self-aware enough to the point where the player is sitting there like, okay, I realize this is a joke. So, okay, as far as gameplay goes, let's start with a story. It revolves around a team called Dead Echo, and Grayson Hunt's their leader. He's the protagonist of the game. He is a very over-the-top character, to say the least. Very gruff, very sadistic, rude, just everything that every 90s anti-hero smashed into one, basically. And he has Doc Brown's haircut from Back to the Future, which is awesome. We also have Ishii Sato. He's like the honorable member of the group, the logical one, the Spock, if you will.
He's Data from Star Trek.
Right. And then, of course, the obligatory female character, the hardest, tough as nails female character. Shaq, what did you say about her?
Yeah, she's the kind of girl that's like, oh, I'm hot, but I'm not really hot, even though I look like I'd still shop at Hot Topic. And I'm tough, and I'm the toughest guy on the team, even though I'm a girl, because I'm ironic like that.
Right, I'm so hot, and I'm extreme, and I'll kick your ass. Just horrible. Just horrible. God, I hope this game realizes what a joke it really is. As far as the single player goes, it's a very derivative story. It's mercenary team gets dropped on a planet by General Serrano, who betrays them, and now your protagonist, Grayson Hunt, and his team of mercs must wade through the planet to find their way off and go get revenge on General Serrano. And they'll cuss a lot as they do it. Yay. Fantastic. Very sci-fi fare. You've got your betrayal, check. Mutants, check. Hostile environment, check. All the checks are checked off the list.
Yeah, I also want to mention that on the info on one of the characters named Rel Julian, they say he's last seen in jail, and this planet was one where people were left there in jail. So I'm assuming we're gonna have a Marcus Phoenix break you out of jail moment with Rel Julian, apparently.
That could be cool. I mean, the planet itself is called Stygia, and it used to be like the Las Vegas of the universe, very resort-like, until radiation storm basically irradiated the entire planet. Everybody had to evacuate, but they left all the prison labor. They said, fuck you guys. You have butt sex. You like sex with each other, so you can stay on the planet and be mutated and do your sex thing, and that's all good.
Butt sex and hockey is not cool, apparently.
Yes, and they wear hockey masks. I don't know where they got those. Maybe it's standard issue in space prison.
Guy love, that's all it is. Guy love, he's mine, I'm his. There's nothing gay about it in our...
I don't know. But through the single-player campaign, the whole point revolves around you getting as many points for skill kills as possible. Like we said, it's a points-driven shooter. You want to get as many points as possible. You get put up on the leaderboards. It allows you to progress through the RPG aspect of the game, which is very Call of Duty. Unlock new weapons, unlock new skill kills. There are a certain amount of skill kills attached to every new weapon. So let's say you unlock the boa gun or the 4-barrel shotgun. It's going to give you all types of new skill kills to accomplish, and you can also unlock new abilities. First, I think you start with the kick and your Peacemaker carbine, and at some point you'll get the leash, which allows you to grab enemy AI, pull them towards you, and then time will slow down. You get some bullet time action going on, and you can pull off a skill kill.
Yeah, there's also weapons have a secondary fire mode called, I think, the overcharge shot, where for the pistol, it shoots a flare that will hit the enemy and then, drive them back, maybe knock them into a bunch of enemies, explode, and then light the group of enemies that didn't get hit on fire. As for the Peacemaker carbine secondary fire, they actually have like an explosive round, basically. So it's like you turn on your noob tube and you can just shoot the enemy.
Say what you will about the story and the dialogue and the game, being a little bit too over the top, walking that thin line where it could fall on either side. As far as the creative ways you can kill people, it does seem to be very competent in that regard. The single player also sports an echo mode, which is after you beat the campaign, you can go back. You don't have to play through an entire level. You can go back and select hotspots in the game. Go back to those sections, replay them, and try to beat your high score, which leads into the multiplayer, which is not your standard team-on-team multiplayer. It's a co-op multiplayer. 4 players, cooperative, fighting through a horde-like mode, but the point to progress, you need to get a certain amount of points instead of killing everything on the map.
Yeah, the game does seem like it will be a lot more fun playing with multiple people, cooperatively, whipping people around, knocking people around, having collective fun rather than just playing on your own, because the single-player AI did kind of seem dumb.
It really did. So what they did with the co-op was not only do you have your skill kills that you can perform by yourself, they have cooperative skill kills tailored specifically for the mode. So 2, 3, 4 of you can get together and be kicking an enemy AI around like a hacky sack until you kill them, and you get multipliers out the ass for doing a cooperative skill kill. And it's going to advance you a lot further. And I guess at some point during the game, you'll be able to unlock better weapons, better abilities, things of that nature through the co-op as well, which is kind of cool. I'm a little skeptical about how the multiplayer is going to hold up on Xbox Live with people that aren't on my friends list. Like, if I just jump into a room and I start playing with random people, it seems like if we pull off like an amazing cooperative skill kill, all of a sudden we're BFFs, we're on each other's friends lists, and it's fantastic, and we're playing a lot together. But if you get those guys that just run around, do their own thing, aren't on mic, and are just generally retarded, it could be a problem.
Well, that's a problem for all games of this type, which is why I think I'm glad I referenced Left 4 Dead and Borderlands, because you got guys that just aren't talking, doing their own thing. You're not going to be successful in this kind of game. You're not going to be successful in this.
Yeah, it's like I always have a concern about putting my advancement in the hands of another player. I don't like doing it, but a lot of people do. You know, maybe it's just a personal thing. Alright guys, that's our preview of Bulletstorm. Be sure to check out the game when it releases February 22nd, 2011. And look for our video review of Bulletstorm sometime in that general area of time, I guess. I mean, we're doing a lot of previews right now, and I can't wait till some of these games actually fucking release so we can do some reviews instead of just previewing shit. That'll be nice.
And I can commit suicide because they all suck.
You're a horrible person and a troll.
Goodbye.